of Sci-Fi Radio.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Hello, everybody. It's another Thursday night. That means DB94. Woo! I'm Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby.
I'm Colleen Kaylee Crosby.
And here we go. We're here. Jeff's here live. Yay. Which is awesome. And I think we fixed our video problems from last week. We look a lot less max headroomy.
Yay.
I feel like Jeff needs more volume or something.
It could be, I don't know.
What color is your microphone cable, Jeff?
Green. Tis a green one. There we go.
There's a fault on the soundboard where your mute button gets stuck.
Oh.
That
Cool.
That was the problem. I'm like, why is Jeff so quiet? Oh my gosh, yeah. So you could be listening to us over on sci-fi.radio. It is sci-fi for your Wi-Fi. That's a URL. Type it right in your address bar, and poof, you get news stories, you get radio, you get all sorts of stuff 24/7.
Yeah.
You could be watching us on my Facebook page. You could be watching us on YouTube or on Twitch. Any of those things are cool. We are watching you over in the chat. So glad to say hi. Talon Thorne. Sam just popped in. Don just popped in. And gosh, it's been a week. I'm feeling pretty good. How you guys doing?
Getting there.
Yeah?
I am feeling very, like my allergies have really kicked into high gear this week.
You were saying that, you felt puffy today.
Yes.
Puffy's not good.
Puffy is indeed how I feel.
It's not fun at all.
I don't know why, but I can't seem to pick us up on Facebook.
Oh, well, that's weird.
Really?
It is odd.
I found it on Sean's.
Right. I'll just have to reload, I think.
Oh, it could
Weird.
be. My Facebook had to close it to reload it completely because it went into the weird. I'm gonna put the screen this way.
Yep, here it is.
Facebook is cheesing me off because it logged me out and then it wouldn't let me log in the way I normally log in, and it said I sent you information and it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Facebook just sucks. And also
Good grief.
it's logged me in as sci-fi.radio, which
of course.
I don't want to be.
Yeah.
I want to be me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you going to sing about
Yeah.
that?
I want to be me. I want to be me.
Hi, Lori.
Except when I don't. I would much rather be somebody else.
Yeah.
So Indiana Jones opens tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
We could have been watching Indiana Jones. We decided to come here and hang out with you guys instead.
Although, I just don't even understand how they can still claim that it opens on Friday when people were going to had 3 o'clock today.
Well, there was some sort of preview showing yesterday too that people bought tickets for and went to.
But I mean,
figure
like
that
that,
out.
you could say, okay, it's a preview, but people just bought regular tickets and went today. So
Yeah.
I think I call BS on them saying that they open on Fridays anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dumb, and we'll see how it shakes out. I think they're just trying to make sure that the weekend numbers get really pumped up because a lot of movies have had really crummy weekend numbers. Like The Flash just was awful.
Yeah, I heard bad things about that.
By one account, and I was
I
trying to
think it's
figure
tanking.
this. I was trying to figure this out, but by one account, the opening weekend of The Flash did less business than the opening weekend of The Green Lantern, which was many years ago, and a considerably worse movie.
Yeah.
Well,
Wah, wah, wah. Hi, Liz.
I haven't heard any reviews of The Flash that were any good, so...
No. And the kid who plays the Flash himself is sort of a garbage human.
Yeah.
So.
Hi, Eric. Yeah.
Eric.
So, lots of peoples.
And Kelly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to go to see a movie where all you really want to see is Batman and Supergirl or Superwoman. I'm not really sure what they're calling her.
Supergirl?
Is it
No,
Supergirl?
Superwoman. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't paid enough attention. You
Yeah.
see, that's the whole thing. I'm like,
Yeah. Those two are the main reason I'd see it.
right. And Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Honestly, And we could have had Michael Keaton in the Batgirl movie much earlier,
Yeah.
and they tanked that. So
Yeah. The tax write-off.
Boo.
Yeah.
that's what they're saying.
It's like maybe you should have
Ooh.
made the Flash the tax write-off because.
I put too much chocolate in my coffee. Not really.
Oh, dear.
It's more chocolate than normal. How about that?
Okay.
No such thing as too much chocolate.
I put too much water in my water.
It's very strong. Too much
Yeah.
water in your water.
But
Too
I'm
little-
wearing. I'm not wearing. I'm drinking from my my
Life Day cup.
Life Day 2022.
Oh.
Cup.
There you go.
Yeah.
We've set the date for
More
Life
watery
Day
than water.
2023, by the way. It is, of course, going to be on the 17th of November. That'll be a Friday.
Yeah.
If you want to come to Life Day at Galaxy's Edge, Batu West.
Did you set the date
gonna
for
do
the
that. I
observed?
haven't. I have to go back and
Oh, okay.
and check out the votes. So we have a poll up on the Life Day page, which is between the 12th of November and the 18th of November. The 18th, of course, is the day following regular Life Day, but it is
For the second day, so to speak.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's limited by people who are not like passes.
You can only
get
be the
squashed.
highest level annual pass
Yeah.
if you are an annual pass holder.
And
Otherwise, you have to buy a full day ticket.
If we do it on the
Those.
12th, the 12th is Dapper Day,
Yeah.
which
but-
is what it was last year.
which yeah, we've done that
Like
before.
almost every year, right?
Yeah, so it seems far.
But like Dapper Day has 2 different days during the year, so I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't understand the point.
I
You
don't
know,
know.
the problem with people.
Well, it's a popular event.
It's a money-making concern now.
I guess so.
So they're doing as many as possible, and they're doing them in every park.
And
Yeah.
I think that it's just going to continue always to be a conflict because we're using the date that's closest to
Life
the
Day.
actual day.
Right.
Yes.
And they're using the last Sunday before annual passes get blocked out.
Right.
for Thanksgiving.
Of course.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it'll probably be the 12th. I just thought I'd give people an option to vote on it.
Mela, people did go last year in Life Day. Well, they weren't really Life Day. They were Star Wars bounding
Yeah.
and 1950s bounding at the same time.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
seen people do Dapper Star Wars,
Yeah.
which was interesting. So.
Yeah.
She's positing that it would give a chance for 1950s Life Day costumes. And
Well, and-
people have jumped
Just
on
need
that.
a
Yeah,
red,
and
just a red
that's-
scarf.
That's what I said
Yeah.
when we did it the first time, was that we will have very well dressed Star Wars fans.
Yeah, and we did a couple.
Yeah, and it's not a big deal. We'll figure it out.
Oh,
Somebody
wristbands. Woo.
sent me their pictures from
Right.
Halloween at Tokyo Disneyland, where
Hmm.
they went in their full suit of stormtrooper armor to
Oh, wow, you can wear face
Excuse me.
masks?
to Disney Sea. Yeah, she had pictures with her helmet on.
Oh, I wonder if she just slipped her helmet on
Well,
when nobody was looking.
Well, I mean,
Maybe.
but then like Japan and stuff might have slightly different rules since it's not.
Well, it's not owned by Disney.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
it's a different group. Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see.
I have to say it's kind of neat. Apologies, Jeff. It's kind of neat to hear about something that's happening at the Disney parks in Japan
Yeah.
and be able to visualize that.
Have a
So,
have
like,
a frame of reference
Disney
for it.
Sea,
Yeah.
and I have a frame of reference
yeah.
for what Disney Sea
Well, and
is,
that was the
so-
thing
Cool.
too, is she sent me this picture, and I'm like, oh, Volcania is behind you.
Yeah.
And so she's standing in the sort of Jules Verne area in her stormtrooper armor, and it was
Okay.
like really neat.
Right.
Yeah, it was cool. I love having a
Oh,
frame
to go
of
back to
reference for it.
Volcania.
It was great. It was
It
pretty
could
great.
have. We said that if we were bounding regularly in Japan, like whenever we bound here in LA, we almost always bound for Galaxy's Edge.
We do. Yeah, we
And
do.
if we were at the Japan parks bounding, we would probably be wearing steampunk and
Yeah.
For Disney
hanging
Sea.
out at Volcania.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Even though there's not, it's so quiet over there. There are no shops.
There's a shop and a restaurant.
There's
Okay.
a shop? I can't remember
Yeah.
the shop.
Remember the souvenir shop that we went into? It was the big
Yes.
domed one.
I do. Okay,
Yeah.
very small.
Yeah.
Very small shop. And there are actually two restaurants. There's a fancy restaurant with a bar,
And then there's one
and then there's
underneath
like a
the
walk up
Okay.
to a window.
window
Yeah.
service.
So-
yeah.
And there's a place where you can get like either ice cream or soda. I don't remember which.
So
Maybe
Disney
it's
Sea is
popcorn.
more like a land than a park.
No,
Oh,
no,
no,
Disney
no.
Sea
Oh
is
my
a
gosh.
is a park.
Okay.
And Volcania is a land
Within the
Disney
park.
Sea.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just that their lands, they have seas instead.
Yeah,
So like
okay.
they have the Mediterranean.
Okay.
And they have the New York riverfront or waterfront,
Okay.
and they have like an Aladdin
Okay.
water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
'cause
they
the only thing
they
I've
had
ever
the
heard
Little
about is that.
Mermaid. They had
And
Little
the Little
Mermaid. They had
Mermaid, yeah.
Agrabah.
Okay.
They had a Nemo section.
Yeah, because the only thing I've ever heard of is the
Oh,
Volcania part. So yeah.
And Mela is pointing out that the actual current name of the land is Mysterious Island.
Okay.
But
Huh.
there was a point in time when they were calling it Volcania, and
Okay.
It's
Sean and I
it's
like that name
Volcania
better,
to us.
so-
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And they have been talking about the new area that's getting put in that contains the stuff that Mel has been working on,
Ooh.
which is really neat. There's a whole construction thing on the other side of the volcano,
Ooh.
which borders the Mediterranean section, which was just scaffolding when we were there.
right.
Cool.
Oh, we'll have to go back.
Yeah.
Darn.
Dadgummit. By golly.
What is it with people who call me during the show?
I can name a few.
Like almost always. And my phone will be quiet all day. The show's about to start. And someone will call. So
People think dinner's over. What'll I do?
Mm.
I'll call Sean.
right.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh man.
and everybody knows Thursday's the busy day. Come on.
I bet not everyone knows
Come
that.
on. Well, the person who just called does.
Oh.
Fantasy Springs is the new area that they are opening, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Fantasy Springs is where the Frozen stuff is going to be.
Yep. Yep.
What a weird name.
It opens in spring of 2024, and it looks like it's going to cost $2.1 billion to set up.
Oh boy.
It's yeah, and I'm looking at a design for it right now, and it looks like they have Arendelle and all that kind of stuff. They're also going to have a
You should
hotel.
put that up so
Oh,
that
yeah, I
other
saw-
people can see it.
I
I saw
will
the
do.
the castle like that they were building for that. It was like, but it was
Yeah.
they weren't quite done. Obviously, they're still
Let's see here.
Right.
in process.
Well, as of April, it was scaffolding. So.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. So so this is the image there. You can see Arendelle up in the left,
Yeah.
and it's looking pretty fancy.
I'm having a hard time with this. Like, where is this person stand? Like, where's Volcania on this? Oh, I see it over on the right. Is that it over on the right?
There's a volcano.
Yeah, I think it's all the way over on
Except
the left.
it shows. Oh, okay.
It's all the way over on the left, I think, and the castle's sort of like next to it, and they've
So
sort
the
of
gold,
iced.
the gold thing at the bottom right is the Mediterranean area.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's just making it smaller.
Well,
Yeah,
Even smaller. Oh my god.
all right. Well, cool.
it could be really fun. And so this is going to contain the Frozen Kingdom, Rapunzel's Forest, Peter Pan's Neverland, and Tokyo Disney Sea Fantasy Springs Hotel.
Interesting.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Well, what did you guys do this weekend? Because I did nothing last weekend.
Did I do?
Grocery shopping was like my big thing that I did.
Did I do? I did the wedding this weekend. Didn't I?
Yes,
that's what it
you
was.
did a wedding
That's
and a
what it
build
was.
party.
Yeah, so I went down to San Diego and I married a very funky couple who was like the guy was really goofy and the bride was very hippie chick, and it was really interesting because when I was referred from one of our Star Wars guys who couldn't do it, he's I think he's on his like Navy Reserve trip or something right now,
Oh.
and he's a pastor. He couldn't do it, and so he referred them to me. And when they said, "Hey, could you do the wedding ceremony?" I said, "Sure. Where is it?" And I thought they said because I talked to him on the phone. I said, I thought they said Griffith Park. And Griffith Park is in the middle of downtown L.A. It's the Griffith Observatory, which you've seen in a bajillion movies. And it's maybe 25, 30 minutes with no traffic from here. And it's great. It's a gorgeous place to do anything. And it's got a great view of the Hollywood sign and a great view of the sunset when the sun goes down. I love that place. And so that's what I thought. And I thought, well, they could be anywhere in the park, and that would be great. And then we started sending stuff back and forth. It turned out it was in Griffin Park, and Griffin Park is in San Diego. And so I left the house at 11 o'clock, thinking I would get there by 1:30, like 2.5 hour trip.
Okay.
And that became 3 hours. Then it became 3.5 hours. It was really, really crazy. But the wedding was great. And I wasn't the last one there. The groom's mom and brother were making food, and then the food got there, and then they decided to eat before the wedding, and so we had like hours before the wedding actually happened. So.
And eating before the wedding is just such a weird order to do things in.
So bizarre, but they wanted the food to be hot, I guess. It was
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Well, and
like, I could see people making everybody eat cold food because they had to do things in the right order.
Well, and I think what they were originally going to do is they were going to serve the food at like 1:30 and then get married at 2:30.
Oh, so the food was always going to be first.
So I think the food was always going to be first,
Okay.
and it's just that it didn't get there for 2 hours. It was like 2 hours late. But it all worked out. We got out of the park just in time, and I had a great trip back. My trip down was complete hell, and my trip back was amazing. I just set the auto cruise control and put on some good music, and I had a great 2 hour drive on the way home. It was
Cool.
like really awesome. Yes, that was super fun. So that was my Saturday. What'd you do, Jeff?
Well, similar. In that my event on Saturday was the East Anaheim Library, Star Wars Day, and I got in my car and I said, "Oh, Anaheim Library, I've been there." Get in my car, I drive over to where I believe the Anaheim Library to be,
And it moved.
and and it's still there, just not the East one. So I went to the wrong Anaheim Library that they had the little Comic-Con thing like a few months ago.
Yeah.
Or a month ago. And just took this long. It took a little while to get there, but I got there still in time. But I'm like, oh, it's only taking 5 minutes to get there, and then I'm like, oh no, I'm like in the wrong side of Anaheim completely, and so yeah, and then I eventually got there. It was pretty cool. The actual library and such, and you know, and Gregor and Randy were there. You know,
It looked like a really fun event,
Yeah.
and I was very sad that I couldn't hit that event on my way to San Diego. If it had been like really early in the morning, if it started at like 10,
Yeah.
I would have tried for it.
Yeah, but it was they had little, you know, they had stuff for the kids, like a few things for the kids, you know, but they weren't. I think they needed to have somebody to do a lot more directing of people, and I think they should have. It probably needed better advertising. I don't know if they even did.
A lot of libraries don't.
Yeah,
A lot of
we'll just put it
libraries
on our
just-
website or something. I'm like, no
Yeah.
one's gonna know. So
They're gonna know. No
Yeah.
one's gonna know. That's pretty funny.
yeah, but it was. I mean, after that, I mean, I went with Gregor and Randy off to like Chipotle, and you know, hung out and had food.
Fun.
Stuff, so that was good, and went home, you know.
Excellent.
All right.
That was Saturday.
That was Saturday. And then Sunday,
The build party out
The build
in
party, that
Laguna
was it.
Niguel. Yeah.
that was fun. So
Yeah.
if you don't know what a build party is, it's exactly like what it sounds like. Everybody brings their costume stuff to a central location, and we all build costumes. 501st and Rebel Legion, usually that involves hard parts,
Yeah.
like what Jeff was working on. What'd you do?
I have the Hasbro helmet of Boba Fett, which Sean has
It's
on a shelf
behind Colleen.
Colleen.
You can't see it.
You
because
can't
it's
see?
on the other
But
side.
I have one of those. So I basically, a long while back, I took the darn thing apart and fiddled with it, and now I'm.
There you go. Colleen's showing it off.
Yeah.
So it's got a big giant
Yeah,
eye space.
yeah,
and
for the kids to see
it's
through.
kids safe.
Yeah.
And Jeff doesn't like kids safe.
Nope.
He likes movie accurate.
Yeah. So I basically have cannibalized mine, and it's like I've gutted it and everything, and then made the visor the right size and such.
I
and
want to
putting it
know.
together.
I want to know when you're all done with it,
Yeah.
and you've got it the way you like it, and you're happy with it, how much time it took you to do it,
Oh God, who knows?
and how much it cost you.
yeah.
Because I still think that you should have just bought a Black Series Boba Fett.
Yeah. Well, in materials, it didn't cost. It only cost me like the helmet and some glue and stuff, but that's not much. But time spent,
Right.
Yeah, it'll be
how
way
much,
more than just buying.
How
a
much
helmet.
is your time worth?
Yeah,
Is the problem.
yeah,
So,
Well, I mean,
but as long as
as
you're
a
having
hobby,
fun,
and
Yeah.
you're having fun with
Yeah.
it. So.
Yeah.
yeah. So, it's pretty funny, and you're making great progress on it. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really terrific. So,
yeah. We get to put it back, finish putting it back together, then paint the sucker. So we got a ways to go on it.
what did
But-
I do? I did a bunch of different things. I worked on my Luke Skywalker jacket, the one that Brayton and Amy made me.
Oh, yeah.
Which needs to be weathered and distressed, and so every once in a while I pull it out, I trash it more, I put it back, and so eventually, after lots and lots of these sessions, it will be really and truly as trashed as it is in the movie. And doing it in stages is good because it's actually really pretty and it smells great because it smells like new leather and all of this kind of stuff. And the more stuff I do to it, the worse I feel.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
So I did that. I put leather protectant on the inside of my Indiana Jones strap, which usually bleeds on my costume. Hopefully that will stop.
Yeah.
With this leather protectant that I do. I made some rivets for the car. We're going to be in the 4th of July parade here in Westchester, and I want to get more rivets on the car and stuff.
Yeah.
So I made more rivets. And then the project I brought with me that I didn't work on was a new R2-D2 dome.
Yeah.
And that was, I never even brought that one out of the
Yeah.
car. I'm like,
Well, it's like they only give you. We're only there for like what, 3 hours or so.
something like
so
that.
it's
I
not-
think it went 11 to 4. And
Yeah.
oh my God. So
Yeah.
look, I love talking to people, obviously. I like showing my car off. That's fun. But sometimes it just does not work out. And so I knew I was going to be about a half an hour late.
Okay.
That was not a problem because it started at 11:30, and I knew I was going to get there at about 12. And so I get down into the area. It's 10 to 12, and I'm like, I'm going to get a drink at Starbucks. And so I go to the Starbucks,
Yeah.
and I walk in, and parking was convoluted because there was a guy with a Tesla X, and the X has the gull wing doors, and I was going to park next to him, but then I want to block him in from getting into his car and all this kind of. So I pulled out, and I went to go park in another one, and then the guy was like over the line, so I had to pull out and go park. I made a loop around, and I
Yeah.
came back. It was very, very crazy. So by the time I did that, a crowd had gathered for the car, and so I got out, and people were asking me about the car, and that was fine. I get into the Starbucks, trying to get to the counter, and one very, very nice lady stops me, and she's like, "Oh, what's this? And tell me about this, and do this, and whatever I'm talking." And I'm like inching my way to the counter. I'm like, I'm just let me talk to you after I place my drink because we can talk while they make it. That would be great because I got a place to go to, and so I go to the counter, and the counter people don't want to interrupt her talking to me, and I'm trying to wave them down, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm in it," and so finally I'm like, "You go stand over there. I'll meet you in a second. Let me place my order." And so she goes away, and then the counter people are like, "Oh yes, I will take your order now."
Oh, good grief.
So do that, and then people keep coming in and people keep coming out, and they all want to talk about the car.
Yeah.
And so by the time I get outside with my drink, I'm by the car, and like people won't move,
Yeah.
so I can get out. It took me. I was there for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
and like I said, I like talking to people. This was too much. It was like, it was too much. I'm like, I don't have that enough energy to talk to all you guys. And I'm glad you're excited by my car. But oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like, I found my limit. I found the wall. I'm like, okay, that's it. And so I got there more than an hour late.
Oh boy.
So it was a shorter day for me. Sparrow came with you though.
Sparrow worked on the X-Wing costume. The hand-me-down, as it were, so to speak, that I got from Lee, then gave to Owen, then back to Sparrow. And that was the... of course, when that was going to happen, apparently I had to go get supplies. I didn't have any Velcro with me.
Right.
And that was going to be the easier option of what Sparrow was doing.
You had to run to Joann's.
Yeah. So it was a little bit of duck cloth that was pretty close in color. It's real close in color to the leg strap.
Cool.
And then Velcro. And they did not have the rub and buff for Sean. But
they did not. That's okay. I had enough projects to keep me busy.
Yeah.
And I have the rub and buff that I forgot right here.
Oh, see.
So, whatever. But, and then Colleen set up the patio.
Ooh, cool.
In the backyard.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I did that.
See?
Yeah.
All right.
But I broke the
Cool.
garage.
Oh.
You did break the garage.
I
Oh,
opened the
man.
door and it broke.
It's like-
I
someone
didn't
made her angry
use
and
my
she's like,
superhuman
Colleen smash, and,
strength. No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
So when we first moved into this house, we had one of those big clunky lumbering wood doors, and it was so old because this house is from 1950. It was probably the original garage door. The springs went weird. The door started to crack, I think, and the whole thing just went. And so our landlady's like, "We'll just replace the garage door," which she did with a lightweight metal 5-segment roll-up kind of door.
Yeah, like we got at my house.
Yeah, and it's been perfectly fine. And I don't know what I think Colleen just managed to catch it just right and open it maybe just a tiny bit too much because the door has never really opened all the way.
No, I couldn't get it to stay up.
Yeah.
I kept pushing it and it kept coming back down on
Oh.
me. So then, maybe then
What-
I pushed it too far
what
trying to get it to
happened-
stay up at all.
So there's a main spring that goes across the front of the garage. It has 2 coils on either side. Those coils have cables, and it's supposed to counterweight the door to make it easy to lift and close. And those cables just went spring, and they all
jeez.
unraveled to the inside of the spring. And I could probably fix one of them. I couldn't fix 2 of them.
Yeah.
And of course, you can go look at videos on YouTube and you can do whatever. But when you look at the garage door and you look at the videos and all that kind of stuff, basically everywhere you look, it says, "Don't do this. If you don't know what you're doing, you could kill yourself."
Yeah.
Because basically you have these springs under super high tension.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to do it.
It's
So
like piano wire.
I looked at it again today. I couldn't really find a way to adequately fix it. We're just going to have a pro do it, which we did. We had a guy come take a look at it and give us an estimate. But I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about him. Where he was going to charge us $300 to reset it, but that's not what he told me he was going to charge.
Hear that?
Yeah. So what he did do when he came in, he's like, "Well, I could reset it the way it is and see if that's enough, or I can just come in and replace all of the springs." And it went from $150 up to like $900.
Oh, good grief.
And so I said, "Well, why don't you try the $150 reset?" That was as much as I thought would be acceptable, since he was already there and he was pushing really hard to do the door like right now, which we can't really do because we have a landlord.
Yeah.
So I said, "Why don't you try the $150 reset?" Which he did. Didn't really work. The door would open and close, but it wouldn't close evenly, and it seemed kind of weak. Something's out of alignment, and I don't know if the spring is misaligned.
Well, we
It's
have
gone
approval
weak.
from our landlady to get it fixed at that price, but maybe we should call in.
I'm going
for
to
a
try
different
someone else
estimate.
just to see,
Okay.
because when he said, okay, I did the thing. Then he told Colleen that it was going to be $300.
No, he told me it was going to be like 700 or 900.
No,
geez Louise.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. If he replaced the springs,
Oh yeah, 300, and then
he
yeah.
told you
At any
300
rate,
instead of 150.
I'm sure everybody's bored.
It was a
that's
drag.
listening
It's exciting.
to us. So
It was
let's
a drag,
move
I
on.
tell you.
We have approval to get it fixed. We're gonna call additional people
Yeah.
because this one doesn't sound like
Oh boy.
the best.
Nope.
Hiya. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying hiya to Linda, Maureen, Emily, and Jean.
Oh, hey.
Anyway,
Emily.
there you go. Go ahead.
Wow, she already saw the new indie.
Oh, Emily did.
Mm-hmm.
I told you people saw it at 3:00 today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We well, the usual movie lineup crew was gonna line up, but they couldn't get approval from the theater to do it because they were gonna spend one night to do it, but they weren't sure that they were gonna have any previews or anything like that. So I don't think anybody actually did. But they got tickets for screenings,
Okay.
and so yeah, we could have gone at the 3:00 show this afternoon if we wanted to. I just thought it would be too hard, so we're going tomorrow. We have tickets tomorrow at 6:30, and at the Chinese theater. Very often on the Friday night mid-evening screening, early evening screening that they do, it's usually around 7:00, they sometimes have people come in and introduce the movie. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping somebody comes in and does an introduction for the
Yeah.
movie that worked
be
on
pretty
it.
cool.
The director or some of the actors or something. Just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will see.
So let's move on to Star Wars.
Yay. Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Though I did I had forgotten that I set up the patio. We have to get a new cover for our pop-up tent every year, and Sean found a place that would do replacements instead of us having to buy an entirely new one. So that's awesome.
And it's a heavier ripstop material, so hopefully it lasts a little longer. Because what happens is the wind catches it and it shreds it.
Of course.
Yeah,
So-
which is really bad.
Yeah, I did get that all set up, and then it's been like, it's kind of warm and kind of chilly. Like it's just
Back and forth?
the difference between spring and summer.
Yeah,
right now.
we're in the limbo
You guys are.
zone.
So I haven't like gone out there to eat lunch or anything, which I normally do.
Much warmer where I live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We get the chilly ocean wind.
Yeah.
All right. Jeff, Star
Wars.
Wars. Hit it.
Born June 28th, 1922, is Eric. Let's see if I can pronounce this one. Bowersfeld.
Mm-hmm.
He was the voice of Admiral Akbar and Bib Fortuna in Return of the Jedi. He has a very small IMDb, actually. He's only got about 6 things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder if he was
know?
like primarily a stage actor or something like that, or if he did stuff just as like, a favor to somebody.
Yeah, I mean, that's my guess. I mean, he did read for Yoda, but lost that part to Frank Oz. But
Well, yeah, you would think.
yeah.
So what's interesting is that he passed away in 2016, which meant he was
Yeah.
Admiral Akbar again in The Force Awakens.
Yeah, he used to work in radio, so yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
probably it.
Um,
That's pretty cool. But he
yeah.
was in Artificial Intelligence.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
neat.
That's pretty neat. Pretty good stuff. He has
Sweet.
good stuff. So our next one is June 29th, 1949. That's when Greg Burson was born. Voice actor for Star Wars games like Gungan Frontier and Phantom Menace and Jedi Battles, Jedi Power Wars. But if you go to his IMDb, he's got a whole lot. And the coolest one, well, maybe not the coolest, but one of the coolest ones, is that he was Mr. DNA
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very
Mr.
cool.
DNA.
from Jurassic Park. There's a
Oh.
little animated Mr. DNA.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So, yeah. And then, like, Samurai Jack and whatever, and just about everything. He replaced, like, a few people that used to do voices at Hanna-Barbera because they had passed away or something of that nature, and so he took over. So, busy. He's busy. He was a busy fella.
Well, and that's wow. He was Mr. Magoo for a while.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
That's so he was in Baldur's Gate. If you're a video game player,
Yeah.
and okay, now this is weird because he said if you look at Samurai Jack, it says he was Quick Draw McGraw.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that they threw that character in somewhere.
It's Samurai Jack.
And Baba Louie must
that's
have been
weird.
like in some weird
Yeah,
episode. I don't know.
that's really really funny. I want
Yeah.
to see that now. And then he was in the video game version of Wacky Races,
Yeah,
which is awesome. Well, good for him.
yeah. So
Sweet.
there you go. The remainder of our actual other part of the history is God, something on the mic. June 28th, 1978 is when Boba Fett was dressed in all white for some screen tests, and then he did a parade, and Dwayne Dunham was in the. It looks like was in the armor.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It was screen tests and whatnot. June 24th, 1999. That's when The Saga Begins by Weird Al was released. Or as Al put it, he was here before AI or something like that.
Right.
You know.
Well, the problem is that whenever you see something written about Al, it looks like it's written about AI.
Yes.
And that's because that there's not enough of a distinction between the letter L and the letter I.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And when Al wrote The Saga Begins, Lucasfilm wouldn't let him go to an advanced screening. They wouldn't help him out to write
Yeah.
the song because he asked.
Yeah.
And so he had to go. I think he ponied up for a charity screening. Went to that screening so he could see it like a week earlier or something, so that he could write the song.
Yeah.
And get it done. And he got it pretty close.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Although I still take umbrage with him calling the spaceship a plane. Little hotshot flew his plane. No,
Yeah,
it's a ship.
yeah,
How about
plane,
ship,
Al.
Al? Ship. It's
Yeah.
it's the same number of syllables. Plane. He did it just to be a pain in the butt, I'm
Well,
sure.
I mean, he changed the words around in the beginning too because lyrically it sounded better. So
Right.
January 25th, 2005. That's when LFL had a big moving party where they all moved over to the Letterman Digital Arts Center in Presidio National Park in San Francisco.
We have been there.
Yeah.
It's a neat place.
Yeah.
That's where the famous Yoda statue is.
Yeah.
Which is outside. You can totally get to it, and they're very kind. They'll let you park in the parking lot just to get a picture of the statue if you want. And if you do go, by the way, because a lot of people don't do this, go into the lobby.
Yeah.
You can get into the lobby of the building, and they have some neat stuff on display. They've got a Vader costume and a Boba Fett costume, and lots of movie posters and stuff. It's beautiful. So don't just take a picture of the statue and run. See if you can get into the lobby.
Yeah.
That's my travel tip for the day.
All right, so there is an article in superherohype.com positing whether Giancarlo Esposito will play a Moff Gideon clone in The Mandalorian.
Well, we did see a bunch of clones in The
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Well, and the website The Wrap
Yeah.
asked him if there was a possibility of him returning to Star Wars, and I guess he said he would come back as a clone if they asked him.
Right.
So
And he's Giancarlo Esposito likes to mess with people.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now. So he's not to be trusted. Although I will say there was a really neat moment where somebody went to meet him at a convention.
Yeah.
And not only did he have Giancarlo Esposito sign his Dark Trooper Mandalorian helmet that this guy made.
Okay.
He 3D printed one, painted it up, did whatever, made it really fancy. Had him sign it and stuff. He gave Giancarlo Esposito one too.
Oh, nice.
Which was great. And so the video of him doing that is amazing. And then he's he's like, getting tough with the man. He's like, you have something that I want, It's really funny. He's having a blast. And I love when people who've done stuff like that get just so into it that they play with their fans.
Yeah.
It was really great. So
Pretty cool.
Cool. Moving on to theme parks. Unusually, we have something that isn't Disneyland to talk about.
I know.
Magic Mountain in California is going solar for their roller coasters.
Yeah.
They are just now beginning to build their solar carport and energy storage system, which is kind of cool that they're doing a carport because maybe that means they'll have covered parking.
yeah,
Wouldn't that be
it
something?
sounds like.
So, yeah, which would be good for
But-
Magic Mountain.
They have a huge parking lot. Might
I
as
thought
well.
all their rides ran on Magic.
Well, now it's going to be the magic of the sun instead of the magic of science.
No more troll magic. No more.
Yeah, apparently the California State Governor Gavin Newsom is very excited.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how about it? That would be great. Good for the state.
Magic Mountain is a place we don't go very often anymore.
Yeah.
Largely because it's sort of as far in the opposite direction of Disneyland as you can get.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also, it's more of a traditional amusement park than,
It's
Yeah.
less of a theme
Disneyland.
park and more of an amusement park.
Yeah.
And it also has a tendency to be sort of gangish.
Yeah, I don't have a bulletproof vest or anything.
Which is
So it's hard to go.
kind of weird, and it's the flip side of annual passes being really inexpensive.
it's mostly roller coasters.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really care for Magic Mountain. I've only
Yeah.
I
been
can't remember
to
the
Magic
last time
Mountain
I've been.
maybe 4 times.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a long time.
I
Oh.
went once in junior high and once in high school, and maybe twice with Sean. And I don't like roller coasters, so.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. Do they even have Spillikin Corners anymore? Because the first couple times I went,
No, I don't think so.
I spent all my time hanging out, like dipping candles
Oh.
and
Yeah, I don't know what they have there
riding
anymore,
on the
to be
train.
honest. Yeah.
I don't think they have that anymore.
Well, and what's really funny, we had a friend that he has since moved to the East Coast, but we found out that he used to work in Spillikin Corners.
Who's that?
That was Dave Hogan.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, he
maybe it's.
he used to work. Did he work
They
the
don't
glass
have it anymore.
blowing booth?
They
or-
don't have it anymore.
Eric says they don't have it
I
anymore.
Oh, okay.
I think
Eric is the go-to for all.
I think it closed down in
information.
2017.
Okay, well, that was where I would spend my time when I was there, as much as I could. It was great. The first time I went there, I went with the choir and the band from junior high in Las Vegas. We got on a
Wow.
bus, drove all night, went to the theme park, and since I didn't really have many friends,
Yeah. Okay.
I basically could hang out all day and watch the people weaving and
Oh.
dipping candles, and no one gave me a hard time about it.
Oh.
But then when you
Yeah.
go with people and they don't want to spend all their time watching the weaving and dipping the candles, then you have to, like,
Gotcha.
I don't know, stand
Yeah.
in line for the roller coasters because
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
going on them.
I remember going there during back in the 80s, and it was like there was a rainstorm. It was like pouring rain.
Oh, yeah?
And we just kept going on the log ride and stuff over and over again.
Because you were going to be wet anyway.
Yeah, we're just totally drenched. Right? Woohoo! You know, it wasn't freezing cold either. So I mean, it must have been like summer rain or something, or spring rain.
We used
Wow.
to go. It was the closest amusement park to where I went to school, like high school.
Yeah.
And when I moved to Simi Valley in Thousand Oaks, it was the closest amusement park. So we went there on lots of birthdays. We went there from high school.
Yeah.
When I was working at Round Table Pizza, we would pool all the tips that we got. We had a box. We'd put them all in the box.
Mhm.
And then we'd use that money and take the entire crew to Magic Mountain and basically pay for the entire day, which was pretty great. And then we would go after the teen summer stock shows that we did. and the whole cast would go. And so I actually went to Magic Mountain a lot.
Oh.
Up until
Well, plus
like
you worked there.
yeah, I worked there not terribly long, but for a while.
Oh man.
So up until like 1979, 1980, it was Magic Mountain, and then they became Six Flags, and that like kind of changed everything. They brought like Batman characters in.
Yeah,
and other
remember they
stuff
used to
like
have
that.
like trolls or something.
They had trolls and a wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as,
the trolls.
as their walk around character,
Such a cool thing, man.
which I
was a
thought
pretty
were
cool thing.
really great.
All right, you know where I've been that you guys have not been?
Uh-oh.
I've been to Ladmo Land.
Where?
Ladmo.
Ladmo Land used to be an amusement park in Phoenix, Arizona.
Huh.
And there was a TV show that was a kid's show called Wallace and Ladmo. And the characters of Wallace and Ladmo were adult men who dressed as little British children. So, like, with the shorts and the...
That's
hat and
creepy as
everything.
hell.
right?
Oh,
And then they made
boy.
an amusement park called Ladmo Land.
Wallace and Ladmo.
Wallace and Ladmo.
So I can't find Ladmo
awesome.
Land, but I found a place called Legend City that seems to be connected to Wallace and Ladmo.
Well,
be.
I mean, also, I'm talking the 1970s,
Yeah.
so...
Right, right.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Legend City and we just called it Ladmo Land.
Oh boy.
They
Because
had
those
a
were
they
the-
had a teacup ride.
Oh, you know.
They had a what did they call them? Mystery Shack.
Oh, yeah.
They
yeah.
call it the Dutchman Shack.
Of course.
The Blakely car ride, the mine ride.
Mm-hmm.
They had a Skyway ride, a Tilt-A-Whirl. This looks like a pretty fun place.
The character of either Wallace or Ladmo, I'm not sure which, wore a blonde wig, big black round glasses, and a shirt with frilly white lace at the collars and cuffs.
Okay.
Yeah,
And there's, I guess, there
Awesome.
was a woman named Maud who was part of their show,
I don't remember that.
and
And then there's Maud. Man.
Yeah. Anyway,
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
so I felt like I needed to have an
I
amusement
know.
park that I
Yeah. I mean,
That's-
I've gone to one
that's
that you
pretty
guys haven't
cool.
to either, so that's okay.
Yeah. Kelly notes that Spillikin Corners from Magic Mountain is a precursor to Ren Fair, except
Yes,
I think Ren Fair actually came first.
it did. But
Yeah.
but you know,
'Cause
not
Ren
everybody.
Fair opened in 1967,
Yeah.
I think.
And in 1991 is when Spillikin Corners closed. It closed way earlier than I thought.
Yeah. Okay.
Legend City on Ladmo Day. That's
Okay,
pretty funny.
so,
okay, this is a fun place.
Yeah.
There's a whole
It's
webpage,
gone, but-
legend-city.com.
Oh, Kelly says it's precursor for her.
Sure.
Ouch.
All right, so are we ready to move on to Disneyland? Because we gotta talk about Disneyland.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Lakeith Stanfield were in Disneyland in New Orleans Square in Haunted Mansion costumes.
Yeah, I see that.
As
That's cute.
the cast members. They
Yeah.
were wearing cast member costumes.
Right. So you know the attraction hosts.
Yes.
Those are the costumes they were wearing. It was pretty cool, and apparently, if you could get near enough to them, they were really responsive. Lots of people that I've seen posting videos of them, like they had Jamie Lee Curtis and Owen Wilson up on the balcony,
And they were talking to people down
and they
below.
would talk to people. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really great.
Apparently,
Looks like-
Jamie Lee Curtis
This looks like they're
yelled out, "Big hair, don't care. Big scares, beware."
yeah.
That's pretty funny.
In the photos, the balcony they're on is actually the
Oh, it's what? It's actually the balcony of the house, isn't it?
above
Oh.
where the gallery was.
No.
Gallery.
It's
Yeah,
it's
the
the one
gallery.
above
I'm-
Pirates of the Caribbean.
When
Yeah.
you said that, I had a picture of Jamie Lee Curtis in the costume standing below, and I could see what like a fake balcony above.
Oh, okay.
And like my brain suddenly filled those in. But you're right. It's
Yeah.
it's got the Roy Disney
Yeah.
initials on it.
Yeah.
And this is either before or after they were in costume, because they
hard
are
to tell
not
you.
in costume
I
on
mean,
the
I
balcony.
I think they were
Well,
doing interviews up
It
there.
looks like Owen's still in his though, but and maybe he wears that color suit, but it looks
well,
like he's
Jamie
still
Lee
in
Curtis doesn't look like she's
it. Yeah.
wearing one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you go
Definitely
to the
sti-
second
Lakeith
article
is
we
either.
have from Walt Disney World News,
Yeah.
I think, it has better photos than the
Yes.
first one. So
Yeah. Well, and they did also, or they do have the ability to have people up on the balcony of the Haunted Mansion, because
Yes.
we've seen Jack and Sally up there before.
Yeah.
So they could have done
Oh,
some of
totally.
that
He
too.
totally easily could have.
yeah. At any rate,
I
super
just
fun.
love the
and-
picture of Jamie Lee Curtis screaming over the balcony. She's like grabbing the railing, and she's obviously yelling at somebody.
Right.
It's the best.
It's too bad that Sean missed this, because he's our local go-to Disney during the week when things
Oh,
like
yeah,
this happen.
Tuesdays.
But you also have to, be there at the right
Yeah, I
moment.
mean, how do you
Yeah.
anticipate that? This was on a Monday. I don't often
Oh, yeah.
go on a Monday.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's always the thing. It's hit or miss. I have seen all sorts of interesting people walk around Disneyland. I've seen Ewan McGregor there. I've seen all sorts of people. So it does happen periodically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
And then also in California, before we move on to the next item, as Kelly noted, or as Sean noted, I don't remember at what point this came in, but the new Captain America stage show that's
Oh,
at
yeah.
Disney California
Rogers
Adventure,
the Musical.
Rogers the Musical, opened for cast previews.
Oh, cool.
And I think this weekend it's opening to the public. to
Yeah,
the
I
paying
heard
public.
that it was pretty good.
Moira went to go see it. She's a friend of ours who works there, and she went to a cast preview. And her mom says that she thinks Moira says that she cried a little.
Oh, okay.
So, looking forward, we have reservations for a weekday right after, in the small window. I think it's a week and a half between the time the passes open up and the time that the musical is scheduled to close.
Okay.
So
There's
hopefully,
apparently
fingers crossed,
Yeah.
I'll get to see it.
apparently
Nice.
because it's Disney, there is a VIP experience you can buy for $30 per person at the Studio Catering Company, and there's limited quantities per performance, of course, but you get a photo opportunity where they give you a Captain America shield, and you get to stand in what looks like a playbill cover for,
that's fun.
except it says Hyperion instead of playbill, but it's yellow and black with the Rogers logo, and you get to be in the picture with the cover, and that's the photo op,
Okay.
which is kind of fun. Shirts and stuff are coming if you want to buy shirts and things.
Okay.
And stickers and all of that thing. So there will be merch.
There's always merch.
And I'm just cruising my Facebook page.
okay.
That I guess they had a media preview of it
Cool.
as well.
And Sci-Fi Radio didn't get invited.
Yeah, big surprise. Because and what are the
man.
people at the media preview doing? Taking pictures of themselves and not talking about the show.
Yeah.
And it happens every time.
Good job, Disney.
with the influencers. They're like, "Look at us, we got to
Well,
go."
but they get the picture out there, and then they've got so many followers that they're able to, like, it probably brings more people just because they want to be
Yeah.
like their Insta people.
I guess it just annoys me because I'd rather read a review. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a correction. Agora Renaissance Fair opened in 1963. Not 1968,
Oh,
as
okay.
I said previously. Okay, so moving on to Florida. This is a very silly article that we saw. Walt Disney, what is the name of this site? Walt Disney World News Today.
Yeah, so they're known for being really useful.
Right. They have an article where they interviewed Josh
Gad.
Damaro.
Oh, Damaro. Sorry, Josh Gad
I
was
mean, it's got to be one of them, right?
He was recently in the news, too. So, sorry.
Who says that something will happen with Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. So basically he's saying that the building won't either sit empty or just magically disappear.
Yeah.
So basically they'll probably make the hotel over into another hotel.
Yeah.
Which seems to me to be very silly, but the guys pointed out to me that there are lots of things in Walt Disney World that do sit empty and
Yes.
they don't do anything with.
Yeah.
So, which I think is silly.
Yeah. I still think that would be smart for them just to redo it. Like, just restructure what they have there and open it back up.
It would be great. Yeah. And I mean, you wouldn't get the experience because they can't do that.
No,
but you would get to experience like the rooms and things like that.
Yeah,
You wouldn't get the whole live action role playing.
Yeah,
part of it.
they could just scale it back a bit or
Right.
total if they want, but I mean, just enough back so that it's not a crapload ton of money for them, and and they're not there for like 2 days and you're boned. So
yeah, and it's weird. Walt Disney World has to be careful because they do have so much land that they can just ignore stuff. And like we were talking about River Country, we were talking about Discovery Island. Both of those places like still exist and are being reclaimed by nature because Disney's just not doing anything.
Yeah,
with
they actually
them.
have they even have an island that's a cruise that you take a cruise ship to. It's completely different than Discovery.
Oh, but that's in the Caribbean.
Yeah, and that's that's gone too. That's closed down too. They left that as it was too.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Because I've heard people recently that went there, I thought.
There might be a new one.
Oh.
The original one, they built this whole thing up and they stopped because the cruise ship couldn't get close enough to drop people off.
Weird.
So and they couldn't.
That's weird because
they
a lot
couldn't
of
build
cruise
a
ships just
thing
have
out,
launches that go when it's too.
It didn't have a long. There was no way
We'll have to look into that. And
nothing
see what
long
they've
enough
done.
to get there.
And we know that Alani is still going on.
Yeah,
and that's in
in
Hawaii.
Hawaii, yes.
So.
Yeah.
Moving right along, unless anybody has more to say about Disney abandoning projects. And,
Nope.
Disney in Florida and California have extremely limited treats for Independence Day. For example, in Disney California Adventure, they have a special red, white, and blue sundae, but it is only available tomorrow through next Wednesday. So June 30th through July 5th.
Yeah.
That seems like a really tiny window to me.
Right. It's kind of like, why bother? Why are
Disneyland
you doing
Hotel
that?
has cupcakes from June 30th through July 9th. And Black Tap Craft Burgers and Shakes has an ice cream cone with a slice of cake and a sparkler on it. Unless that's just for the photo, there is something on fire on top of this ice cream.
Wow, some of these things look really crazy.
Yeah, but those are at Disney World where they have hotels. And so all of their hotels always have all these different meals, and that's why they have so many. And also their version of Downtown Disney, Disney Springs, is almost like an amusement park in itself, or a theme park.
Right.
It's a good half day that you could spend there.
Yeah.
And then Blue Ribbon Corn Dog has an item that is available July 4th only. That's in Downtown Disney, and it looks revolting. It is a corn dog stuffed with red, white, and blue cheese.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know, but it looks really gross.
Let's see. Okay, I finally made it to Disneyland. So we got
You're almost there.
the hand scooped ice cream at Clarabelle's.
There it is. Whoops.
Yeah.
He went back to it.
And then
Right below
yeah,
it.
the thing with the sparkler is, do they actually give you fire?
I don't know. It shows it being on fire.
I know, right? Oh, and
Yeah.
there's the cheese. Oh no.
Isn't that gross?
I like a good corn dog, man, and I like mozzarella
That
sticks
does
and
not
stuff.
look like a good corn dog.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
Is there really a dog in there?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's nuts. Red, white, and blue cake shake. Bleh.
I don't think there is. It says it's a blue ribbon corn dog, and it says 4th of July mozzarella dog. Oh, it's a mozzarella dog.
So it's mozzarella.
Red, white, and blue mozzarella cheese dipped in batter,
on
rolled
a
in
stick.
panko crumbs, fried, rolled in sugar, and served with sriracha.
Why sugar?
I don't know. It's gross.
Why are you doing that
It's
to
super
me?
gross.
No, it's terrible.
Yep.
Okay, whatever. None of this makes me want to get it,
Well, the only thing that does is the fire on the
right?
shake,
go
but
back.
I doubt
That
that,
looks
they're actually giving you that.
Good. So it's a shake with a slice of cake jammed on top of it with some sort of
Yeah.
flame coming out of it.
And what doesn't even make sense is that it looks like it's an ice cream cone. It doesn't look like a shake.
I think it's in a glass.
Oh.
Because if you get a shake inside black tap, it comes in a regular shake glass.
Oh.
So maybe that's it. I don't know.
Right. Top of the hour.
It is indeed. So you could be listening to us over at sci-fi.radio. It is sci-fi for your Wi-Fi, nerd-supported, listener-supported nerd public radio. We're grateful for everybody who contributes to that and hangs out over there. You could also be watching us over on YouTube and on Facebook or on Twitch. All sorts of places to do that. YouTube's a great place if you miss part of the show or if you want to show someone else the show. Is a great place to show people the show. United States, Australia, Canada, Estonia, Germany, and the Russian Federation are all tuned in right now on the radio side of things. Hi, guys. We is international. Woohoo! It's little things in life, right?
Yeah.
Did we introduce ourselves and I just forgot?
Nope,
This
we
time
can.
around?
I'm Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby.
This is just a little.
This is Colleen Kaylee Crosby. I thought maybe I was losing my mind.
No.
Jeff, Castaway Cay is still in existence in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
It's a private island in the Bahamas which serves as an exclusive port for the Disney Cruise Line ships.
As they rebuilt, they must have rebuilt where the boat would stop to drop off passengers, or actually finally got something built so they could actually pull the boats up.
Well, I mean, but
Because before they weren't able to get
yeah,
people
but
off the boat.
there's a lot of places where you can't pull the boat in, and they just do. When we went to Hawaii on the Queen Mary 2, we had to go on to Maui. We had to go in launches because the ship couldn't get close enough
Right.
to the beach.
Okay.
So it's a pretty standard thing to have launches.
Okay.
So I don't know. Okay, so moving on to trailers. Disney Plus has Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian, The Making of Season 3 on June 28th. So that opened yesterday.
We have been getting all sorts of teasers from Shauna Turptic on her Facebook page.
Yes.
Costume designer for many of the new Star Wars shows. And she's so super excited that they're focusing so much on her crew and the stuff that they're doing. So she's pretty jazzed. So if you're a costume person or a builder, a cosplayer, or whatever, you may find this interesting. With showing the background and how they're making a lot of apparently the armor assembly line they had to put together to get all of the armor done for all of the Mandalorians that are in the show.
Yeah.
Apparently it was kind of nuts. So yeah, it looks really fun, and it's fun to see other people kind of excited about it.
And another update, Dawn tells us that I'm calling it a launch, the ship that takes passengers from the cruise ship to the shore.
Yeah.
But it's actually called a tender.
Okay.
So
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Or in the case of emergency, it's also called a lifeboat.
right. Okay, coming to theaters on September 22nd, Drive Away Dolls, which is about two women who go on a road trip and end up meeting a bunch of interesting criminals.
Yeah.
As it's one of those buddy road trip movies where they discover something in the trunk they're not supposed to discover.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's pretty much a genre at this point
Yeah, pretty
of
much.
movies like that. And,
Yes.
of course,
And a
hilarity ensues.
Big cast.
And to, further complicate things,
Yeah.
our two road trippers are apparently lesbian strippers. I thought that was really funny.
Were they strippers, though? I thought they met at a strip club.
Maybe.
One
Maybe
of
they
them
did.
seemed awfully shy to be a stripper.
Yeah.
Oh, could be.
Yeah. Now we have to go watch it
I
just
know,
so
I
that we
think-
can find
yeah.
out
I
whether
know.
they're
I think
strippers
one of
or
them
not.
could have been a stripper, but the other one not.
Yeah, I don't think the other one
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
stripper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was
One
like
of two.
Okay, so lesbian stripper singular.
right, and the other one's just lesbian without the stripper part.
Yeah.
Well, Don, it's okay for you to correct. Don is apologizing for correcting me. Says he wasn't trying to correct me. It's fine. Do send in corrections. I like to know the correct names for things, etc. Coming to theaters on November 3rd, Dune Part 2.
Yep.
I have to say that I never saw Dune Part 1.
Okay.
So
Oh.
I don't know how closely this sticks to the book, but it looks so much less silly than the versions of Dune that I have seen.
David Lynch
That-
variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it looks like a better watch.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's better. It expounds a little more on what's in the book. I think they're still skipping a few things here and there, but
Oh, well, you have to.
story wise, of course, if you saw the David Lynch one and you see this one, they're very, very close. But I think they go in a lot more depth with
I
this
just
one.
think that I feel like
and it
some of
looks
the
more
characters,
world building like
some of the characters in the David Lynch version were so over the top that you
Yeah.
couldn't focus on the story as much as
Yeah.
the characters.
Well, and he
Yeah.
made the story even more over the top, which
Yeah.
was a real drag.
yeah.
So
Although it was interesting in the trailer, they showed the actor who's in Guardians of the Galaxy. I can't
Dave
remember
Bautista?
his name. David Bautista. And every time I see him, I expected him to point at people and laugh. So
Yeah,
just can't take him serious
instead
anymore.
of being a Harkonnen. Yeah.
right, yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Sean, you want to take the next section since we're all done with trailers already?
I will indeed. So a while back, actor Julian Sands went missing. It was a really weird kind of situation. He was an avid hiker. He used to like to go and do outdoorsy kind of things. And basically he went on a hike and he never came back. That was 5 months ago. And they found some remains in the area where he was supposed to have been hiking, which is near Mount Baldy here in Southern California. They sent his remains to the coroner in San Bernardino, and they have gotten a positive identification that it was, in fact, him. Mount Baldy is more than 10,000 feet tall. There's a lot of area to cover. And, of course, we've had terrible, terrible storms over here, so things were kind of dodgy. He was 65 years old, and he was in A Room with a View and a whole bunch of other movies.
Yeah.
And they had done 8 different searches trying to find him, and none of them were successful. But they have finally gotten a positive identification, which is both sad and good. He did all sorts of great movies and stuff. Naked Lunch. We were talking about David Lynch, and he was in a lot of very, very British things. So, sad news.
Yeah.
But good that they finally found him, because people were like, what happened? So, let's see. Nicholas Coster, who was a soap opera actor, and he was a dedicated soap opera actor. He was on Another World. He was on Santa Barbara. He was on All My Children. He was in the movie All the President's Men and Reds. He was in the TV show The Facts of Life, and worked with Laurence Olivier and Liz Taylor. He passed away at the age of 89. This is a pretty good run.
Yeah.
His daughter said, please remember him as a great artist. He was an actor's actor. I will always be inspired by him and know how lucky I am to have such a great father. So, and we talked about all this really sort of, fancy stuff that he did, this great acting that he was also in the Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo, and
Yeah.
stuff and he was Blair's dad on The Facts of Life.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, so pretty funny. He was in The Little Foxes with Liz Taylor, and Stir Crazy. He was the warden in that, and all sorts of great stuff throughout his career. So.
Yeah.
It's very sad news. And then the last one on our list here is Sue Johansson passed away at the age of 93. If you don't know her, you have never listened to the radio show Sunday Night Sex Show. She was a sex educator from Canada.
Yeah.
And she had a live call-in show. We've had similar shows here in the United States.
Yeah.
But there was even a TV series of her show that ran through 2005. And she was one of the people who basically made it okay to talk about anything about sex and not be embarrassed about it and whatnot. But before she did that, she was a nurse. She opened a birth control clinic in a Toronto high school, taught sex education in schools in Ontario. And that just sort of became her life's mission. So, 93, excellent, excellent run.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Jeff, you got some speed round in you?
Okay.
We have
It's sparse.
45 minutes of speed rounds. So
So I know. Oh boy.
I'm gonna bring you all back to talk about the garage door again at the end.
Oh, see, there we go. So Pluto TV, which I believe is you can throw on if you've got Roku or something, throw it as an app on there.
On your phone, too. You can watch it.
Pluto TV. They will now have a Godzilla channel.
Just Godzilla, or are they being equal opportunity?
So as all I've gotten is that this will feature over 30 films spanning the eras, including several that are otherwise not available in the U.S. and animated this and that. It's not just Godzilla, but yeah, it's like his films and such are the focus, but that's not all that will be on there.
I'm telling you, man, there better be Gamera.
I know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
so I love their press release. Today, fans can celebrate one of the world's most renowned entertainment characters with the Godzilla Channel collection and experience their favorite movie moments from the never-ending clash between kaiju and humankind.
Yes.
It's very pompous.
And so there's a list of all these titles, and there's a lot of these that never actually got released here, so we never actually got to see them. So that's going to be cool.
So now you'll get to see all of them?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's basically all the Toho stuff. I think they actually even have the Broderick Godzilla on there.
Yes. So Godzilla 1999 and 2000 are both up there.
Yep.
As is the 1954 version.
Yep.
I don't know if you have the same list I do.
Yeah.
But Mothra, Ghidorah, Invasion of the Astro Monster.
Yep.
Which I don't think I've ever seen. Mechagodzilla. The Return of Mechagodzilla.
Yes.
Space Godzilla,
Yeah.
more Mothra, Godzilla the series,
Yep.
and that's it. I don't see Gamera on that list,
I
man.
know. What I was reading, that it was several kaiju flicks. So from what I understood, that it was not just going to be, just Toho, but who knows? Maybe it will only be Toho. But I thought I had read it that it was going to be more than just Toho Godzilla movies and whatnot, or related. So we'll see.
Sean?
It looks like there are 35 different movies that they're launching with.
Yeah.
Which plus the
insane.
TV series and all
Yeah.
that. I mean, that's a pretty fair number.
Oh yeah.
And certainly beats the Channel 5 movie of the week, which really was a movie of the week, where Monday through Friday they'd show the same movie at 5:00.
Yeah.
Which was kind of epic. And so if you wanted to see Johnny Sacco and Giant Robo, you could watch them 5 times.
Yeah.
Week. But that's what I want to see on the
Yeah, I
Godzilla
know.
channel.
I want to see
where's that kind of stuff?
And like Ultraman and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know
Yeah.
if they get those, because I don't think those were Toho, so to speak.
No.
They're related to Toho. but not
I
Toho.
hope they don't just limit it that way.
Yeah.
'Cause that would
Yeah.
be sad. So this is going to be a really weird San Diego Comic-Con.
That's for sure.
People have been fighting like crazy to get into Comic-Con. It's always very, very difficult. And there's a ticket lottery, and you got to be on your computer and punch in the button and all this kind of craziness. Then you got to get a hotel. Then you got to get parking. It's already kind of a disaster. And then compound that with a writer's strike that is ongoing. Compound that with a potential SAG-AFTRA strike, which is on the horizon.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of very big companies who aren't going.
Yeah.
So Sony Pictures, who's doing the Spider-Verse stuff right now, and among other Spider-related superhero movies, Universal Pictures, Netflix are bailing out, and I think Warner Brothers isn't going. Disney's not going. Paramount is going to have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle panel, apparently. And I don't know. Warner Brothers might go back because they're having such problems with their DC verse, and they feel like they really need to do it. But
Maybe.
it's not that there's not going to be lots and lots of comic book stuff there, which will be should be a lot easier to find, right?
I think so.
The art show and Artist Alley. There's still lots of reasons to go, but the reason this is a problem is because Comic-Con relies on that big influx of money.
Yeah.
And again, they make a lot of money at Comic-Con. The people who run it are making, I think the president and the vice president make $160,000 a year just running Comic-Con.
So nonprofit, I thought.
And then they hired their spouses who also make, I don't know, $90,000 a year or something like that. It's kind of a family affair, and they are almost always being looked into by the IRS to be sure that they're really the 501c3 nonprofit that they profess to be, which is why there is now a Comic-Con museum in Balboa Park in San Diego, because they have an educational charter for their 501c3.
Yeah.
And now they're having to prove it,
Yeah.
which is a big deal. So it's going to be a big challenge. Comic-Con will always be fun, but in reality, you don't even have to set foot in the convention center. If you can get to San Diego and you can find a place to park and a place to stay if you need to stay overnight, you can just go into the gas lamp district. And a lot, like, so for example, Disney or Sony or somebody may not be going to have a booth at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they might not open up something in the gas lamp district as a promotion for a specific show.
Yeah.
Like
This is true.
Like when the second Tron movie was coming out, they opened Flynn's Arcade.
Yeah.
And you could go in there and you could play games. And at one point, all the games would shut down and they would direct you to the back of the room. And then you would go into the computer and you would be in the club. Who was it? Castor? Was that his name?
Yeah.
And you would go into his nightclub and you could have a drink and hang out and talk to people. And they would do this like every hour. It was nuts. And that didn't have to be on the show floor at all. That was just outside in the gas lamp district. And all you had to do was, walk up, wait in line, make a reservation, whatever they needed you to do to be part of it. You don't even have to go into the con. So if you didn't get tickets, you could still go down there. But, the snarky thing being they're showing like a step and repeat and an empty panel table. And they're like, this is what the panels could look like. But in reality, Comic-Con will have more than enough panels because I know a lot of fans are very excited that their panels have been accepted, where usually they have been refused over the years. And they're like, I can't believe they took my panel. And it's like, well, that's probably because Warner Brothers and Sony and, all these
Hall
other...
H is going to be empty.
Nobody's there, right? So, we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. I'm not worried about it because I'm not going.
Yeah.
No one's given me a reason to go yet. So there you go.
Yeah.
And our anniversary
Me
is on
neither.
that Saturday, and we have plans. So.
Well, see, there you go.
And Colleen and I have terrible anniversary experiences at Comic-Con
Oh, dear.
where we couldn't
Well,
find
not
each other.
terrible,
And,
not tragic. Just
okay.
we didn't see each other on our anniversary. So
and,
I mean, there are different definitions of terrible.
it was sad. It was frustrating. We couldn't find each other at the convention. We missed each other by minutes, being in different areas. We couldn't get a phone call to each other because the circuits were all busy. It was just the worst.
Right.
Nobody died, but it was a terrible way to spend your anniversary.
Yes. Barbie's Dream House is up for rent in Malibu. You can.
It looks pretty cool.
You can go Airbnb it, and I don't know. Is this a photo of it? Does it really look like that, or is that from the movie?
I think so. I'm trying to. Oh, here it is. I'm trying to find your article, which is from Variety. No, that's the real house. It is the back side of the house. The front side of the house still looks like a regular house. And here, let me throw it up. I'll let you guys look at it.
It totally looks like a model from a movie.
It does.
Yeah.
But this is how they have actually painted this real honest-to-goodness house. What you can't see is that at the apex of the roof, because the roof is slanted, so on the other side of the house, it just looks like a regular house. There's no pink, there's no nothing. This whole backside totally looks like the Barbie thing. And they've added lots of plastic details to it to make it look even more Barbie. Let's see if I could zoom in a little bit.
You can't request a booking until July 17th at 10 a.m.
It's pretty epic. Although, because this is a promotion for the Barbie movie, I have seen other people who are suggesting that the Oppenheimer people also do a promotion for their movie by bombing the Malibu beach house. Kind of rude, really.
They just go to like a pile of wood. Here we are.
Right.
Right. It looks like you can't actually rent it. It looks like they're only doing, or like you can only rent it for 2 nights.
That makes
Total.
sense.
I mean, like, there are only 2 nights for everyone in the world to try and get in.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, they're not keeping it up. It's
That doesn't sound right. They put all that work into it.
Lame.
you can request to book Ken's room in Barbie's Dream House for 2 individual one-night stays for up to 2 guests. Selected winners will stay at the Pink Mansion in Malibu on July 21st and July 22nd free of charge to indulge in all of the Kenergy that a revamped beach home has to offer. So maybe you can rent it, or there are these 2 nights.
It sounds like there's a contest.
They're doing a contest.
And I'm going to the booking page here, which doesn't show anything. Well, okay. At least it is in Malibu, which I find very amusing.
Yeah, I don't...
It says on July 17th at 10 a.m., so it's not open yet.
Right, I did say that.
Yeah, so
before.
you can't reserve anything yet until then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to... Oh, there's a video. I'm looking forward to the movie.
Well, the 2 individual one-night stays for up to 2 guests will be on July 21st and July 22nd, which is July 21st is the opening of the movie.
You know, it really does seem to be focusing heavily on Ken and less on Barbie,
Yes.
which I find really sort of interesting. But yeah, this video is really funny. There's a whole wardrobe. Very nice.
At any rate, Jeff?
Sorry. Something in my eye. So apparently they were working. Disney was actually in the process of making a. I don't know why they're calling it a reboot. A sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and the subsequent films, and it was going to be starring Josh Gad. He was going to be playing one of the sons, the youngest son from the first movie.
So they could have had Rick Moranis in it.
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
So, and he basically said a lot of people are asking me about this film, and it's basically before COVID hit, they were just about to do it. They were like right there, and then COVID hit, and then after COVID, he couldn't. Josh couldn't do it because of scheduling conflicts because it was just nuts and crazy. And then when they got to starting it again, the budget went kaplooey. Like when the budget went nuts. So it doesn't. He's not. I don't think he's saying that it's not happening, but he's like, if you still want it to happen, tell Disney. That's what he's
Well,
saying.
gosh, if you look up Josh Gad news, everything is about disappointing news about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and
Yeah. Yeah, and Joe Johnson was going to come back to
Bad
direct
news.
it too.
Wow, that would have
Yeah.
been awesome. It was a really fun series of movies, and
Yeah.
where were we? We were somewhere where we saw the shrink ray. They had it on display somewhere from the movie. Huh.
oh, it was a Disney exhibit that was in.
Oh, was it at the Bowers
Orange County
Museum?
At the Bowers, yeah.
Yeah, they had the shrink ray. It was amazing.
Oh, okay.
Super cool. I'm easily impressed, though. So, whatever. I'm like, what?
Oh, you know what? I wonder if that even got on here. There's a Disney auction happening at that same place that we went and looked at the auction stuff before.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to go. It just
That's
opened.
this weekend.
Yeah, it's the Vaughn. Oh, what's the name of that place?
Oh, it's in Burbank, right?
No.
No,
No?
it's in the valley.
Okay.
Van Eaton Gallery.
The Van Eaton Gallery.
Okay.
That's what it is.
But they do it in an old. Like it was an old.
Oh, they
department
said
store.
it's at the Burbank Town Center Mall.
That's weird.
So it's
Uh-huh.
it's in a different place than we
When
saw
I
it
looked
before.
it up, it was in the same place.
It looked like it, but
Wacky.
it is strange.
What do you know?
It's the Joel McGee collection, and there's a lot of ride vehicles, a lot of posters, all sorts of pretty interesting stuff. And but yeah, we went and saw it, and it was in an old supermarket at a different place. It was a different
Yeah.
auction, and but yeah, some of the stuff they have a Moldorama
Yeah,
machine,
this is weird.
which I
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I think it got left out because I was intending to get that in here because of the Moldorama machine.
Ah, man.
Yeah,
Moldorama
it
machine.
was in our list. Yeah, I don't. This is not in the same place. I don't think that it
No,
was
it's
last
not.
time.
Which is weird because when I looked at it, like 3 days ago,
Yeah.
it was in the same place. It was definitely not.
They
in
must have
Burbank.
just shown some old images or something.
Yeah.
Is there stuff to show them what they have there?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find, and
There's not really
I'm
anything
finding
except-
articles, but nothing is really showing
Oh,
the
man.
catalog that's there.
The catalog isn't
Maybe a video.
out yet, I think. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find it because I'm the one who posted it. So.
Well, and I know that on Facebook, somebody posted a whole bunch of pictures.
Okay, on the Vintage Disneyland site, there are a whole bunch of pictures. There's a picture of the Hitchhiking Ghosts, a Dumbo car, a Moldorama, an early mock-up of the Matterhorn and the monorail. There is a whole bunch of stuff.
Here. I've got a thing here and all.
Oh well, okay. I just must have been totally wrong because it says right here Burbank Town Center, and it was posted on June 27th.
Okay,
so.
I'm gonna pop this over. There we go. So our hitchhiking ghosts. I don't know who the lady is in the picture. There's a fair amount of Haunted Mansion stuff in here. Dumbo and a bunch of stuff from the Dumbo ride, which is kind of cool.
The auction takes place July 17th through 19th, but the items are far too expensive for most of us to.
There's my Moldorama machine. You just deliver that right to the house.
25 cents.
Nice.
There's a.
Could you imagine somebody buys it, delivers it to the house? Well, let's see. Now we don't have a living room anymore.
I am cleaning out the garage right now, so.
Well, clean it out more.
Right. Lots of tiki stuff. There's some interesting things.
Let's go to that this weekend.
Yeah, that would be fun. Could do that.
Oh, look at those portraits.
The portraits are great. I'll back up for a second. The portraits are really cool. Although we saw some of those on display at the last auction. That I was kind of.
Maybe they didn't sell.
I don't know, or maybe this guy bought them and he's auctioning them off now. I mean, how they do replace them from time to time, but how many are there?
Because there was a Dumbo car at the last one,
right?
We went to as well.
Yeah, I like the TWA Moonliner things in this display, which are pretty cool.
Cool.
I used to build.
I feel like we need to go back through Sean's pictures of the last time we went to one of these auction exhibits.
And see what matches?
And, look at everything and then see what they have this time. Remember when we went last time, we went to the Eaton Gallery and discovered that it wasn't at the Eaton Gallery. It was somewhere else.
It was at another location.
Yeah.
That's the experience Jeff had this weekend with his library thing.
I know.
Right.
I know.
Yeah, they have some really pretty interesting stuff in here that I think would be pretty fun. But the last one had some pretty great stuff too. They had the biggest collection of Disneyland maps that we'd ever seen in one place. This one has a huge wall of attraction posters, which is really cool. And then they also had, and this was just sort of special to Colleen and I, they had the giant neon letter D from the Disneyland Hotel. They had taken off of it, which was up during the era where we went there on our honeymoon.
So this exhibit is available if you're local here in Southern California. It opened yesterday, and it's going through Sunday the 16th of July. Wednesdays through Sundays, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's free to visit, and it's at the Burbank Town Center Mall in Burbank.
Yeah, it's free to visit unless you bid on something.
Well, the bidding doesn't start until July 17th,
in which case,
you can't bid on anything while you're there.
July 17th. Very nice. That's very funny.
Oh, because that's the day Disneyland opened,
yes,
right?
it is.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Searching my brain for what July 17th might mean.
I was telling Colleen this. My last trip to Disneyland, a cast member had cornered me, and we were talking about stuff, and his favorite character was Donald Duck. And he said, "Hey, I don't remember why he was started throwing trivia at me." He's like, "Well, here's one for you. What's Donald Duck's middle name?" And I'm like, I should know that, but nothing like comes to mind. And I sat and I thought about it for a minute, and he was going to tell me. I'm like, no, wait. And I went, "It's Fauntleroy." And he's like, "Yes. That's it." And I'm like, I have no idea how I know that. but man, for a guy who forgets people's names all the time, that was a pretty great pull.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, what do you want to talk about?
Let's see. We have strangely that they're making a Lilo and Stitch live action movie. Can't say I understand the reasoning.
We
but,
have heard that before. Yeah.
But
It
Jason
is
Scott Lee is
confusing.
actually going to be in it. So Jason Scott Lee was the voice of David in the original animated one, so he'll be doing a live action cameo. And also Tia Carrere as well. So
How are they going to do Stitch?
CG.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's going to be running like he'll be the guy running the luau, that whole scene where where Stitch eats the cake and spits it back out, whatever, the whole scene.
Sure.
He's the guy running the luau. He'll be playing that character live action, and Tia Carrere is in it, and she's playing a social worker, Miss Kakoa.
She have a social disease?
Sure.
Get a social worker.
I tell you. Zach Galifianakis is going to be the voice of Dr. Jumba,
Okay.
because that was
Weird.
originally David Ogden Stiers. Billy Magnuson is doing the voice of Pleakley, originally Kevin McDonald from the Kids in the Hall. Let's see here, Sydney. Oh boy, Agadung.
Good luck with that, Jeff.
Yeah, it was playing Nani. Kaipo Dudo is David, and Courtney B. Vance is Cobra Bubbles, with Amy Hill as Tutu. But I'm trying to see Chris Sanders coming back as the voice of Stitch. There it is. Maya Kealoha is playing Lilo.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's happening. Dean Fleischer Camp is directing the thing, and so it is going to happen.
So when was the last time you saw Tia Carrere? I mean, I haven't seen her in forever.
In shows, not at all, but I follow her on like social media and stuff, so I see pictures of her all the time.
She looks pretty great.
Yeah.
And she's apparently like avoiding plastic surgery and stuff because she doesn't want to get that weird plastic look that people get.
Yeah.
And
I've seen her super recently.
Was she in Avatar? She's at the red carpet for Avatar.
The
I don't
new
know.
one?
Yeah.
I don't know. She may be.
She's not.
But
Telling you
but
she's not.
she's
Or IMDb is telling you she's
Okay,
not, because I
okay.
have it
There
open
you go.
right now.
Oh, okay.
She's was in an episode of Never Have I Ever, which I just watched last weekend.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, she's our age. She's 56. And she looks pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Gotta say. Kind of impressed.
I wish I looked that good.
She's older than we are by 5 months.
I was going to say, not by much.
Yeah, 5 months. I just haven't seen her in a long time. And I love that when you do a search for Tia Carrere, there's one of the button options is now. And you click on it and you get all the pictures of what she looks like now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I know what Sean and I saw her most recently in.
What?
An old episode of Warehouse 13.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Well,
There you go.
there's that.
Right.
We've been watching Mary Tyler Moore recently. We're almost through the entire series. And it's funny to see people show up in the early days of their career. And we just saw Fred Grandy from The Love Boat recently, and he looks like so young.
Oh, yeah.
He was playing like a priest or something, and of course he's very fresh-faced, and it was pretty funny. But we've seen a whole bunch of people crop up, and we're like, oh my God, it's that guy.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Where were we? Was that Sean's thing or Jeff's thing?
I just did the
Okay.
Stitch.
It was Jeff's thing.
Sean.
All right. I like Evan Peters. He's been good in the stuff that we've seen him in. Of course, we saw him in WandaVision.
Yeah.
Did a really great job in WandaVision. He's done a bunch of other stuff. I did not see Dahmer, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, but I heard he's amazing in that. So he's going to be in the upcoming third film in the Tron series,
Yeah.
for which I want a third Tron film. I think
Yeah.
that would be incredible.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And I am so on the fence because Jared Leto's in it, and Jared Leto might as well be playing the Flash because
Yeah.
he's that kind of creepy, I run a cult, weird kind of dude. And I'm just not there for this movie if he's in it. And that's the thing that's really bumming me out, because I really want to see it, and I really don't want to support anything with him in it. I'm not the only one. I've had a whole bunch of other people say the same thing, so we'll have to see. But I don't know. Yay for another Tron one.
Yeah.
But you know.
I want to talk about Weird Al on his Facebook page posted a happy last day of Emmys voting reminder for people to vote for the Weird Al movie in the Emmys by posting a coloring book page. You can download it and color in
Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al.
Yes, as right. I'm like, Dan. His name is Dan something.
Now, what he didn't say is that, because I posted it over in the Weird Al group, and apparently there's an entire coloring book that somebody did.
Oh, really?
And that, and so, here, hold on. Let me go to the close personal friends of Weird Al page. That was the name of his fan club, which was really funny. And so I posted, you have to be careful. They have all these rules about what you're allowed to post and what you can't post and blah, blah, blah. It gets pretty bad. And so sometimes they take my posts down. Here it is. It's still here, though. And then somebody said there's Nathan Rabin made the weird a coloring to Al cynical movie cash-in extended edition. So if you go to www.nathanrabin.com, you can buy an entire coloring book, apparently.
What? Spell it again?
It's Nathan, RABIN.com.
I had too many B's.
And I'm on it right now. And so here it is. To celebrate Weird Al Yankovic's award-winning, 100% factual new biopic, veteran Weird Al Yankovic historian Nathan Rabin and illustrator Felipe Sobrero have added a brand new 4,500-word chapter on his latest cinematic masterpiece. Now, that's the weird accordion to Al, and then there's the weird a-coloring to Al, which is the one that has lots of Weird Al-related coloring pages.
Now, it's not on the front page of NathanRabin.com.
You got to go to the shop. You have to go to the shop.
The shop, okay.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It's $11
shop
for a signed copy.
Wow. Signed by Nathan Rabin?
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
120 pages of coloring goodness.
There it is. The weird A coloring total. Okay. Well, groovy. Jeff.
Yes.
It's your turn. I couldn't remember where we were again.
It's okay. Coming this November to Marvel Comics, at your local comic book store, is Spider-Boy #1, and this is actually a young boy who becomes Spider-Man's sidekick, and what they're saying is, like, you know, the spectacular Spider-Boy who was nearly forgotten forever, and now those mysteries will be revealed in this new series. So they talk about this kid who somehow becomes the sidekick of Spider-Man, who doesn't have sidekicks.
Right, that's weird, right? That's what I was thinking. Like, so Spider-Man's not necessarily a sidekicky sort of dude.
Yeah. So they're just it sounds like it's going to be really a lot of fun, and he apparently the character is also, the sacred identity is Bailey Briggs is the name of the kid, the boy, and He lived somewhere called the Feast Center. I'd have to look that up to figure out what exactly that is. But he got spider powers from some guy named Mr. Negative, and so he fought alongside Spider-Man and Miles Morales, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Negative. You know, that describes half my Facebook friends
No,
list.
see? That's just terrible. Oh, food, emergency, aid, shelter, and training. That's Feast. That's what Feast stands for. So there you go.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
this looks fun. I was picking that up, but probably
Cool. Sean?
Because we talked about it on our little teaser thing there. Do you love Hamilton? Do you have Disney Plus? You can now sing along to Hamilton. They're basically taking their version and gonna put lyrics on the screen, so you can now sing along with the cast: Lin-Manuel Miranda and Daveed Diggs.
Can I pose a question?
Sure.
What is the difference between doing that and
Putting on the
just
subtitles?
Putting on the subtitles.
Usually formatting of the lyrics, especially when you have multiple people singing at once.
It's a different font, Colleen.
Right.
I mean,
No.
Okay.
you-
But
no.
they do different people in different colors or
Yeah,
something? so
yeah.
that you
It's
can-
usually different people in different
Yeah.
colors or
in,
different
in
parts
your
of this.
household, you could have
it probably
different people
matches a little
singing.
quicker to the music as
Yeah.
like normal.
There's
closed
a delay
captioning isn't
in closed
exactly right up-
captioning.
yeah.
And a lot of closed captioning, when they talk fast, they truncate the
And
stuff.
sometimes they don't quite translate the words right.
That's,
too.
Well, that's
only,
just
only
an
in live
accident.
captioning,
Yeah.
or it happens in live captioning
Oh, live
by
captioning.
mistake
Okay.
because they're trying to capture the words that are a
Oh, okay.
minimum of like 160 words a minute. That's a minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're more likely over 200 words a minute. And the other reason is because the person who was typing in things that are not live, the
Yeah.
person who was typing wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Right. And the way that they could do this too, depending on how much effort they put into it, a lot of karaoke highlights the word you're supposed to sing at the time you're supposed to sing it.
Yeah.
They could do that. Although,
True.
to be fair, a lot of lyrics in Hamilton are really rapid fire. They're
Yeah.
really fast.
I'd like to know what the speed is of that.
Yeah, well, I guess we're going to find out
I meant
because
literally. I'm not going to sit there and count with a stopwatch.
right.
So
if you can't go to Indiana Jones tomorrow, nothing better to do. Disney Plus tomorrow, you can sing along to Hamilton.
I'd do that. That would be fun. Get together a group of friends. Let's have Scott over.
Sure. Well,
Let's
we
Scott
used
over
to
and sing.
we used to do something called the Living Room Musical.
Yeah.
And I thought Hamilton would be an amazing candidate for that. It's where we quite literally used to sit around and sing musicals from sheet music. And what was weird is that people would come to watch. they would put it up for the Enigma UCLA Science Fiction Club and go, "Hey, Living Room Musical." And so Scott will have cast different people in it, and we would do like City of Angels or something like that, or Pirates of Penzance. And then people would come sit and party and watch us do it, which was even weirder.
Yeah, that was.
It was
That
kind of
was
wacky,
fun.
but
Yeah.
but it was fun. I would do Hamilton, totally.
Right.
Dibs on George Washington. I like his part.
Interesting. Let's see. I'm lost now. It's me.
Have you tried Hare Krishna?
I have not tried Hare Krishna. I've tried their food. I'm not a fan.
It's a myth. A myth.
Good grief, it's a running
Yeah.
gag.
Madonna. Madonna is sick.
Madonna.
She had to
Twilight,
cancel her
Twilight.
tour because she's got
Cooties.
cooties, a serious
dear.
bacterial infection.
Yeah.
That sounds owie. And so she's in the hospital. She was in the hospital. It is unclear whether she remains in the hospital. But
She
did
was
need
in
to
the
postpone the
ICU
tour.
for several days, which was a big deal.
Yeah.
And she has canceled whatever touring appearances she was going
Her
to do.
health is improving. She's still under medical care, and a full recovery is expected. Nothing else has been made public. So
And of course, this could all be a smokescreen because her plastic surgery caved in. We don't even know.
Ew.
Madonna's plastic surgery freaks me the hell out because she looks like she's about 12.
That was really bizarre.
Whatever she did, it's like the Moisturize Me woman from Doctor Who.
Right.
She's like super tight pulled skin, and
Creepy.
and she doesn't really look like herself anymore, and she looks way too young for what is she 60 something,
Well, yeah.
and
she's-
it's crazy.
yeah. Jeff?
Boy.
64.
So Mattel's bringing a toy back.
Yes, they
they
do.
Is
prob-
it a toy I worked on?
They probably shouldn't be, but they're bringing it back. And it's going to be Furby. They redesigned
heard about
Furby,
this.
and he's coming back. And the article that talks about it here is literally just saying, "Oh, Furby coming back July 15th for $70, whatever." But there's no pictures. So I did find
I saw pictures somewhere.
on, of course, where else would you go? But I'll put it in there, and I'll put it over in our chatty thingy on Facebook so you can look at it, Sean.
Oh
And it's-
no!
yeah.
Oh,
Did you
no.
see it?
No!
Yeah, it's
no,
the.
no, no, no.
I went to Hasbro.com, and there they are. Yeah, that
He looks like an evil berry.
That looks very frightening.
I don't know. That's not as bad as some other things. I mean, honestly, when Sean's Bad Baby,
Babu Frick.
Babu Frick, when his eye was
Little
all
eye
gross,
burst.
that was way worse than this.
Right,
This
but
is
that
just-
wasn't intentional.
No.
This is intentional. I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair,
Right.
they basically they took every toy trend that's really popular right now, jammed it together.
Yeah.
So it's like a troll
It's like
doll mated with a
like a
Teletubby.
Pokemon.
It's like it's
Yeah.
everything in the blender.
Just bizarre.
Yeah, but don't put a doll in the blender.
You should,
Apparently,
we should show them.
here I'm gonna put this up.
This is.
Apparently, this comes back next month
Yeah.
for the 25th anniversary of
Yeah.
the Furby. So this
So-
is the Furby.
You remember,
This
folks,
is what it looks like
where
now.
It didn't speak English or anything or any language you
It,
knew.
it spoke Furbish.
Yes, that was something.
Its language was called Furbish.
Just something with the word "wa" at the end. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's adorably cute in a really sickening kind of way.
Yeah.
But it looks better maybe than the original Furby, which I also thought was kind of creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just that this is insanely like
Well,
it fell over the cute cliff.
it no longer looks like Gizmo from Gremlins, though. So,
And you know
it
what?
doesn't bother me at
Yeah.
all.
And you know what? I have a Gizmo Furby.
yeah.
I actually do. It's the only Furby I own because somebody gave it to me.
Yeah.
It does look enough like a Furby that you know what it is.
Yes.
And I guess I don't know. I will agree it looks better than the original Furby. I'll give it that. But I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't.
Oh boy,
I
it's
don't
too
understand
funny.
why you guys are freaking out over it. It just.
The creepy little things.
And what's weird, they brought the Furby back in like 2013 or 2014 too.
Yeah, but I don't think they redesigned it. I think they just brought it back.
They changed the colors. They made some minor changes to it.
Yeah.
It had it was like more hip and funky. But it still pretty much looked like an average Furby.
Oh man.
Sean, what do you want to talk about?
Let's see
Nailed it,
here. I want to talk about. So as we know, DC is rebooting just about everything. James Gunn is taking on the Kevin Feige role in the DC cinematic universe. He's trying to corral everybody together and make sure that the movies are interconnected in a good way. James Gunn, of course, did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He's got superhero experience, so we'll have to see. So he's doing the movie Superman Legacy.
Yeah.
And they have started their casting. David Corenswet is going to be Superman.
Yeah.
And Rachel Brosnahan from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is going to be Lois Lane.
Woohoo.
I'm kind of excited by Lois Lane. A lot of people are coming down on Corenswet, going, how can he play Superman, blah, blah, blah. But we had a long discussion about this online where, and I guess I'll throw some pictures up here for you so you can see who I'm talking about. He doesn't look like any of the other actors who have played Superman.
Okay.
But the way Jeff looks like Han Solo when he's dressed as Han Solo, and I look like Obi-Wan Kenobi when I'm dressed as like Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Yeah.
he looks enough like Superman to
Yeah.
be Superman. And that's really all that you need. He doesn't have to
Exactly.
look like Christopher Reeve. He doesn't
No.
have to look like any of the other recent...
Wait, people are complaining that he doesn't look like a Superman?
Yeah, but he does. He actually does look like Superman. He's got
Yeah.
the good jaw and the blue eyes
People are
and the
lame.
hair, and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well say that Rachel Brosnahan doesn't look like Lois Lane. The last Lois Lane we had was Amy Adams.
Yeah.
So, I think that it's going to be just fine. People just need to calm down.
Yep.
And we'll see. They're both talented actors. If they give them a good script, we don't have any other pictures here. So give them a good script, and I think they'll be fine. I mean, gosh, the last Superman stuff was awful. So, they can only go up from there.
Yeah.
That's funny. I guess, do we want to start wrapping it up, or do
Well,
you
we've
wanna-
got 4 minutes. If anybody has one last thing they need to cover.
Jeff?
Okay. Yes. So, this is not a long one for that matter, but so
Well, I
James,
got one when you're
James
done.
Mangold, who is directed the movie we're seeing tomorrow night, is doing the Swamp Thing for DC. So this will be the third Swamp Thing movie.
Nice.
I think, yeah. And then they've done two or three series and such. So this will be the third one.
Well, give Adrian Barbeau a cameo.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, I think they're saying it's like they're calling it. He's saying it's like a standalone, gothic horror movie is what he's going with. But
Okay.
but in a sense, I don't think that it's necessarily standalone, so to speak, since it's part of the new DCU. So, he's been wanting to make something forever. Like his biggest dream was to make a Frankenstein movie. So he's like, well, maybe I can do something with Swamp Thing, and so let's see how he does with it. It sounds kind of cool.
Nice.
I want to point something out, which is the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which now costs $75,000, by the way,
Only?
to get a star on the Walk of Fame, has announced their class of 2024, and they changed their rules. So Carrie Fisher got a star this year at 7 years after she passed away, and the embargo was 5 years. You had to wait 5 years before you got a star if your celebrity passed away. They've changed that now. Now you have to wait 2 years because they determined that 5 years was too long, apparently, because a lot of people gave him crap over Carrie Fisher. So now Chadwick Boseman's getting a star. He hasn't been gone for 5 years. And in the motion picture category, can I just say that every person who is getting a star is connected to sci-fi, fantasy, or horror in some way? Chadwick Boseman, Kevin Feige, Gal Gadot, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Chris Meledandri, who does he does Shrek and Illumination animation stuff.
Yeah.
Chris Pine, Christina Ricci, and Michelle Yeoh. That's it's insane that all of these people have connection to sci-fi and fantasy stuff. Really super cool. So, of course, they have more people for television and recording and live theater and radio and sports entertainment and stuff like that. In
Yeah.
sports entertainment, Carl Weathers is getting one. But, of
Yeah.
course, we know he's really from The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Predator.
Right. I don't know the theme to Predator. I know the
Yeah.
theme to Terminator. I don't know the theme to Predator.
Yeah, I know. It was Silvestri, so
Right.
you know.
Not as catchy, apparently, as the Terminator.
So you just think of stuff that had lots of military-esque
Right.
music to it.
I guess that's it. Thanks for hanging out with us on your Thursday night. I hope that you get a chance to go see Indiana Jones this weekend. We've been waiting an awful long time for it. It is Harrison Ford's last outing in the role, and if the filmmakers are to be believed, Indiana Jones will be retiring. He will not come back as another actor or project in the future.
Yeah.
So that is on deck for this weekend. I know we have our tickets for tomorrow. We will give you a rundown when we do that. No spoilers, though. We'll
Yeah.
be nice. We'll tell you if we liked it, though.
Yeah.
Of course, Independence Day is coming, the 4th of July. Be safe, be sane, keep all your fingers intact, watch the explodey things, and
So, like I do.
right,
Yeah.
come back to us safely
Watch
on
the skies.
Thursday. But we hope you do have a good time. We're doing a parade down the street here. We've got barbecues planned, and Indiana Jones looks like a good
Parade.
weekend, honestly.
And now we're going to the Disneyland exhibit.
Right.
Is
Busy,
it
busy.
crazy weekend?
It'll
Yeah.
be.
I'm
it'll be
taking
great.
off Monday. Woo!
Nice.
Tracy Butler says, "Water your roof." We had a job that specifically at the museum we lived in. Before we lived in it, we had to go to the museum and hose down the roofs and keep the hose handy to put out fireworks as they landed in the neighborhood.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was
Yee.
really kind of nuts. And then the house was like seriously haunted.
Yeah.
It got weird. But we had fun. Anyway, I hope your guys' weekend is as fun as you want it to be. Come back next Thursday. We'll compare notes. We'll see how it goes, huh? And be good, everybody.
I'm Colleen Kaylee Crosby.
This is Jeff Donoho.
I am Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby. As always,
May the
Force
be with you.
you.
We'll give you guys over on the video some credits, which are now fixed. Thanks, Tony. Tony Benown sent me a note going, "Hey, it still says Gene Turnbow. Now it says Jeff Donoho." So
Well,
we're back
I
to
showed
that. Bye, video people. Thanks for watching us wherever you